Time blindness is an unfortunate reality of ADHD, and unfortunately, playing the long game is how you usually get the best results. Patience is a virtue, but it can be extremely difficult to play the long game, to think years in advance when you struggle with this time blindness. Because what time blindness really is, like what this symptom actually does, is it makes it so that you only really have a concept of now and not now. And this can make planning pretty difficult. In fact, that's one of the skills that is severely hit by the ADHD deficit. And if you want an analogy real quick to understand it just a little bit further, when you have ADHD, you can imagine your body is a temple. So we'll say it's like a church and there's a bell ringer in the church, right? And he's up there and he's supposed to be ringing the bell at certain times of day, okay? Well, when you have ADHD, this bell ringer is drunk. He's inebriated 24/7. He's always got a drink on him. Not only is he drunk, he has access to a phone, and sometimes he's just watching shorts. This is hyperfocus. When he's scrolling on his phone, he has no concept of the passage of time. And I'm using this as an analogy for hyperfocus in general. Anything you hyperfocus on, you can imagine your bell ringer is basically watching shorts. And it's like if you've ever tried to talk to somebody while they're watching shorts or get them to do something, they're like, huh, like scrolling on their phone. So he's drunk, he's distracted, he's also sleeping randomly, like he just goes to sleep. Another analogy is like having a clock where it's plugged into something where the electricity just randomly stops working. And so it just, well, or even better yet, it's like it just stops changing. So it'll just be like 7:15 and then just stay like that for like 4 minutes and then start moving again. And so you have like all of these things going on at once. Like you have a drunk bell ringer. You have no concept of the passage of time, basically. It's now or not now. That makes it difficult to plan in advance. Here's how you actually get a ton done in your life and how you make long-term plans. So what I just did is I wrote this on my whiteboard, took a picture of it, and then set it as my desktop background. This is a plan. This is actually a short-term plan, but this same principle and philosophy around planning, the same system applies to long-term plans as well, where you're going to identify something that you're going to stay focused on for a period of time, and you're going to come up with an end goal. That is your priority. When you have a priority, that's the thing you're doing, not other things, that thing. You can still do other things, but it's the priority. So everything else, everything that you possibly can, gets sacrificed for it. Where it's like, yeah, I'll clean my house if I have to. But if it's a little dirty, if it's not like needs my attention right now, guess what I'm doing? I'm doing content. Because that's what my plan is telling me. So externalizing it and putting your plan in a place where you're not going to forget it, where you're going to see it. And it's okay if you tune it out. If you tune it out, that's fine. As long as it catches you and gets you back on track when you one day randomly see it and go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So setting things as a desktop, that's a really simple way to do it. That's not how I do it. I prefer having flyers up in my room that I've created. And I did have a system when I was using Notion where there was 2 feeds. One was my daily plan. The other was the long-term plan. And so that long-term plan doesn't change until you hit that goal. That's what you need to know. Until you meet the end condition for that goal, it does not change. And everything in your life gets sacrificed for that. But it needs to be in a place where you're going to remember it, where you're going to see it. And it's going to remind you, hey, this is who you are. And then what you do is you just spend time and resources on it until you reach that goal. So what this means is I won't do anything other than making videos today. That's the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make videos. And once I have 4 videos, I'm done. Then I can do whatever I want. And what this looks like over a long term is like the word for this is seasons. And this is how reality works. Like we harvest in seasons. We sow in seasons. Life is like farming. If you want a project to get done, you work on it for a season. If you want to cultivate something in yourself, you work on it for a season, for an amount of time throughout the year where you say, okay, this is my focus. And then if something shiny, shiny object syndrome, we have this. If something shiny says, hey, look at me, look at here, and you wind up going down this rabbit hole following this thing, guess what? Your plan holds you accountable because it's externalized. It has to be externalized. If it's not externalized, you're screwed. If it's not externalized, you're not doing it. This is a principle just for living with ADHD. If it doesn't exist outside of your head, it doesn't exist. If you do not have a plan, if you do not have a devlog, if you do not have something you're interacting with where it's being externalized, it's not real. The way you can think about this is even your tasks aren't real unless they're listed somewhere. You need to externalize literally everything all the time, constantly. Because what this also does is it gives you clarity. And when you have clarity, you make smarter decisions. Your ADHD brain cannot handle managing time. It just cannot manage time. It cannot manage all the things you're trying to ask it to manage without these things being external. Like, it needs to be external so that your brain doesn't have to try and hold on to it with its low amount of RAM and with its like super inability to calculate time and sequence events. Like a problem that a lot of people with ADHD have is like, you think you're going to be doing all these things and it's like, okay, when? And your brain just goes, oh, that's in the not now category. It can't give you a time. It just says it's in the not now category. Or you might have a loose idea like, oh, I'll do this thing and then I'll do this thing. It's like, you don't know how long those are going to take. You just don't. You think it can be done in like a year or 2 months or 4 days and ADHD is really, really bad about this. Like we oftentimes think that things are going to be done way faster than they are because we literally just have lived our entire life without a sense of time. So it's like, oh, I'm going to check my messages for 5 minutes and then go to that appointment. It's like, no, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to check your messages for 30 minutes because you don't realize that it takes 30 minutes every single time because your brain can't measure time. So if you want to have more clarity on time, here's another thing, externalize, make a spreadsheet. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a stopwatch. My recommendation really is that it be a stopwatch because anything else is honestly going to be too much friction. Your brain literally just isn't going to do it. So go and buy a physical stopwatch, get it on a lanyard, put it around your neck, and when you remember, and if you have a watch, that's fine too, but when you remember, you're gonna forget a million times. Record how long things take. Guess what? You're also gonna forget to stop it. Guess what? That's okay. This is gonna be an ongoing process. You're gonna time how long things take, and it doesn't need to be perfect. In fact, it's better if it's not perfect because if you get distracted, if people wind up talking to you, or if XYZ happens, you're not looking for pure data, you're looking for accurate data. You're not trying to create the perfect experiment. You're trying to see, okay, what is actually probably going to happen? And then you might find out, oh, when I get distracted when going to do this one task, that actually typically adds 10 minutes on average. It could be anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes. And so if that's the case, it's good to know that. And then once you have this spreadsheet that creates this clarity, it'll be easier to plan your day. But really, if you honestly want to plan your day well, it's super simple. It's just do the things that are going to stress you out first, where it's like they have a deadline, or it's like they need to be done. They're the bottleneck and you can't put it off anymore. You do those things first, and then the rest of the day, you dedicate to literally one task and you batch work it and you hit it as hard as possible. And you gain as much as you possibly can from this, where it's like, for me, an example would probably be like building what I call my blessed machine, which is this like externalize your brain system. It's what you're seeing here in Obsidian. So I would spend however much time just working on this for like an entire day. It's like I'd go do the 4 things, like maybe I absolutely need to go to my bank to withdraw some money. Maybe I absolutely need to go and buy food because I'm about to run out of food. But then as soon as those things are done, it's just blessed machine all day. Literally just going to sit there and work on that all day. And how you figure out what you're doing, this is going to make you laugh, but it's really OP. This is a text document. Now guess what? Your time blindness and your working memory, they will mess you up while you're doing things. Just this morning, I'm going to give you an example that's fresh on my mind. I was working with some software and I didn't realize that for every entry I made, it was actually irreversible. And there was no way to sort them, all these different entries. And it was like a bunch of data like mixed up and jumbled up. And so it suddenly became extremely overwhelming where it's like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I have like 8 different entries to create, but there's like all these other entries and like all of them have data associated with them. Like it was becoming too much. I didn't know what I had done, what I had yet to do. This is the type of thing that will happen. You lose track of what you're doing. That happens when you have ADHD. You're gonna lose track of what you're doing. You're gonna get confused. So you open up a text document and you have this open while you're working, or a notepad on your desk. And I call this text document doing. I'm not in my doing document because I use NeoVim for that. And I just want to make this simple. So you call this doing, and then you literally write out what you are doing and you sequence it in order. And that's how you think about it. You just do them in order. And if the plan changes, guess what? You just change the document. And you can also write down important information while you're in here, things that you would be likely to forget. Then you save it, and honestly, you can burn it, you can offload the data somewhere else, or you can just make it so you create a new one every single day. What works in Obsidian, I'm going to show you this real quick. This right here is my daily note in Obsidian. So this opens as soon as I open Obsidian, and there's also a ribbon that I have disabled right now where I can go and open this note. And so I have to check this box saying I did my daily SOP. I did like all of the things that I know I have to do every single day before I start working, so that I'm not task switching and like shattering my focus later in the day. And then I come up with the strategy for the day. I identify the threats, and this is basically the planning part, is I make the plan here. I identify threats, which are the things that must be done first. Those are the things that stress you out, things that have a deadline. Things like, oh, I don't have food anymore, I need to go buy more food. And then this is a place where I put things that I'm thinking about for the day, where it's like thought capturing. And then I have a self-evaluation system. These are the 2 prompts. And I just have it all in one document. So it's just, I go down the list. And this has been working really well for me so far. I might tweak it a little bit more, but just capture this concept, this principle of get it out of your head, get it to where you can see it and use it every day. Whether that's putting it on your desktop, whether that's covering your monitor with a piece of paper that says the plan on it when you step away from your computer, whether that's writing reminders on the doors of every single room in your house. It just needs to be external. You need to have this system that gets you back on track. Another solution is tying a string or getting like a silicone ring to put around your finger. And the way you can think about that, when you have a ring, that's like a commitment to somebody, right? If you're married. And so a ring on your finger, like one of these silicone rings that you can sleep with and like do activities with, is a commitment to yourself. So when you see it, you remember. I'll go ahead and put a link to some silicone rings in the description below. I will also put this plan document as a thing you can copy and paste in the description below. I've switched around between a lot of different productivity software, trying to sort of get a feel for things and experimenting with things. And I'm now becoming super bullish on just using Obsidian and building my blessed machine. So if you want more free help like this, like systems that actually work, systems that somebody else has tested and experimented with already, so you don't have to do it, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'll be releasing more of that type of stuff soon. Go ahead and like and subscribe so this video can get out to other people who are struggling with this. I will say, guys, I don't want to end it on like a sad note, because I mean, I hope your takeaway from this is that you can do it. It is possible. There's tons of living proof out there. Wildly successful people with ADHD. But it is difficult, and you do have to try harder. And what trying harder actually looks like is being more patient and being more focused, where it's like you're going to eliminate distractions. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Like, sub, comment. Go ahead and tell us what is a long-term plan that you want to make concrete, that you actually want to externalize right now. And then go externalize it as soon as you're done typing that out in the comments. And say how you're going to do it, because certain ways like won't really work. So if you go ahead and tell me in the comments, I will reply to the comment. I'll tell you which solutions are going to work and which ones aren't going to work. Because if it's just like a sticky note, it's not going to work. But thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It's the most important stat. God bless you. Have a good day.